You're watching the Coaches Roundtable on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Welcome to Coaches Roundtable. I'm Ed Codi. To my right, the Swami George Abraham. To my left, the Tiger Albert Campman. Hey, we have some news for you here. This is a release from Armstrong. Armstrong will be launching the ACC Network across all of its television markets effective September the 1st. This will allow television customers access to the University of Pittsburgh football games on the network this season, starting with the September 4th game versus UMass. The ACC Network will be shown on Channel 166 in high definition and Channel 474 in standard definition in all Armstrong markets. The channel will be part of Armstrong's Television Plus level of service in all Pennsylvania systems. The ACC Network plans to deliver live coverage of 40 football games, 150 men's and women's basketball contests, and over 250 Olympic sports events from conference schools this year. No extra cost to the customers because it's tied in with the deal with the ESPN, and that's why the Big Ten's not on, because that would cost the customers so much per person, and they wanted a blanket approach, does the Big Ten. So good news.
Yeah, you just told me something. So the Big Ten, they would cost the customers, and the ACC did.
Not because of a deal with them, because I believe, I want to be careful what I say here. If it were offered per customer request, then probably you could get the Big Ten. But when they wanted everyone in Armstrong to pay for it.
George, do you get the ACC at your place?
No.
Okay.
No, it doesn't.
Big Ten.
You get the Big Ten now.
No. All right, let's go to Spotlight. High school football, week 0. Top rushers, Cooper Baxter of Butler, 106 yards. Mike Card, Union AC Valley, 101. Shane Thompson, Slippery Rock High School, 8 carries, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. J.C. Anderson, Carn City, 7 carries, 84 yards. And Carn City running back Luke Gehring, he scored 3 rushing touchdowns. Leading passers, Cole Boyd, Pine Ridge, 221 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. David Desicino, Monotol, 178 yards and a touchdown. William Moko, Slippery Rock High School, 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. Receiving, Cooper Boozle of Monotol, 10 for 130 yards. Alex Gochis of Pine Ridge, 7 for 124 and a TD. John Sabo, Slippery Rock High School, 3 for 81 yards and a touchdown. Lance Slater of Butler, 4 for 65 yards. And Jackson Research of Freeport, 4 for 56 yards. High school football, our power rankings in 6A. We're only doing 4 teams. There are only 8 in the conference or in 6A. North Allegheny 1-0. Central Catholic, a tough loss there at number 2, 0-1. Mount Lebanon 1-0, followed by Cannon Mac. And in 5A, number 1 Gateway, number 2 Moon, number 3 Pine Richland, number 4 Penn Trafford, and number 5 Peters Township. Pine Richland will be at Seneca Valley this Friday night. We'll be there with Armstrong to tape that game for you. Pine Richland opened with a loss to Harrisburg. They were up 21-7. They got outscored in the second half. 3 touchdowns. Harrisburg turned on the power, rushing for 155 yards. And let me say this about Steve Campos. Good luck, coach, but he was complaining after about questions asked him about being the first-year coach at Pine. And I'm just going to say, coach, you had to know what you were getting into. You're going to be under the radar all year long. If you didn't know that, I'm surprised that you didn't expect this.
Well, first let's talk about the game. Harrisburg and Pine Ridge are dead even, and and the game proved that. And then I heard you say 2 turnovers. That's what decides the game.
Yeah,
that's 2 possessions that you got a chance to score a touchdown. And with regard to the coaching, he must really love coaching, because to love coaching, you step into that knowing everybody's watching.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not under the radar. He's on the radar.
Throw the word fair out, because you're head coach. We all know this. You're the guy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And whether he likes it or not, and fair or unfair, he's going to be compared to Kasparovich's 8 years, 4 WPL titles, and 2 state
I think
championships.
that's
The
a-
only way you silence this is win.
And that's a 6A mid-pen power. That's not.
No,
Yeah.
Harrisburg's loaded.
Yeah, they
Harrisburg's
lose
good.
to,
They were 4-1
some-
last year. The only game they lost was a COVID-19 forfeit game.
No,
That's
but I
it.
tell you, people in Pine Richard don't fret.
Yeah.
That score tells me Pine Richard's really going to really be
Pine Richard has
good.
they have a good team. They got
Yes.
a brutal. They have Seneca Valley, then Central Catholic, Penn Hills, and
The
Gateway.
loss that hurt me was we're coming to it. Seneca Valley. That's the one I want to say.
They
Whoa.
turned the ball over
You're
a
talking
number of
about
times against Moon too.
Giving rushing Moon trounced them on the ground.
Yes.
Jeez.
Let's go to 4A. It's Thomas Jefferson. Aliquippa was Idle, followed by McKeesport, Bell Vernon, and Hampton.
Geez, I can't believe no one wanted to play out quick.
Yeah. They're going to play Beaver Falls this week, and the Tigers got thumped in their opener.
Yeah, they're not as good as they were. But Aliquippa's, think about this. Their line averages 318. That's all you got to know. They're known for their speed.
Yeah.
They're
So you know there's
huge.
318. In 3A, number 1 Central Valley, they won 62 to nothing.
Oh, jeez.
Number 2 North Catholic, they won 62 to nothing. East Allegheny, Elizabeth Forward, and Amworth. I'm not sure that this isn't from top to bottom one of the best conferences classifications around 3A.
It's very good, but there's one that's here. The rest of them are just here. Central Valley. It's got everybody
Oh,
back. with
Central
team on
Valley.
station.
No question. They're defending
And North
state
Cali's
champs.
really good. They have a better chance than one of the other divisions. That's how good Central Valley
And
is.
one of their stars from years ago went to Alabama, Robert.
Foster.
Just got cut by Buffalo.
Yeah, I know. He
got released.
He got that injury, and the pros,
Injury.
they don't mess around with you.
No, he had an injury settlement.
Yep.
And in 2A, it's powerful Stowe Rocks, followed by Laurel, Washington, Sarah, and Neshannock. 1A, no one wanted to play Clareton opening week either. No one wanted to play Rochester opening week either. They're number 2, followed by Olsh, Bishop Canevin, and Springdale.
Yeah, that's a good line. Those teams are. You just write them down like from 25 years. George used Rip Van Winkle.
Yeah.
25 years ago. Wake up. How's Clareton? Pretty darn good.
And you know what? If Clareton would have said to North Allegheny, you want to play?
Oh no!
Clareton would have
In an
played
instant.
them. PG girls volleyball rankings number 1. I know you guys will be shocked. It's North Allegheny, the defending WPL and state champs. Number 4 is Pine Richland, and North Allegheny's Mia Tooman, 6-foot senior. She's going to Ohio State over her father's alma mater, Michigan.
Wow, tough.
Her brother's at Penn State.
Well, he was a good player.
Think about how good volleyball is at North Allegheny.
Oh, just
Because they truly listen to you guys and then listen to you read that. They have somebody Division I every year. Not Division 2A or
The one that we're doing the game, he's there. Louisville. I'm like, 3 of them out of
back in Louisville, Notre Dame,
Yeah.
Ohio State.
Every year.
And they have a new coach, longtime assistant, Russ Hoberg. I don't think anything's going to change there.
That's a good move. I didn't know that. See, that's a great move by North Allegheny. Usually they reach out and go.
Yeah.
He's been there for
Search,
9 years.
Search.
Yeah.
Why would you change anything there?
Yeah.
You know he knows everything about that system.
Yes,
That's a
And
good
they went
move.
out and got a basketball coach. And it didn't work.
Yeah, Di Gregorio.
But I mean before.
But that's
Before
what they
that,
do. They
before
reach
that,
out
yeah.
football back. They don't.
Yeah,
They very
yeah.
seldom go in.
They're not interested in doing the cheapest thing or the easiest thing.
No.
They want to do what's best for their program.
Any reason why they have more championships
That's
than
one
any
of
other
the
team?
No, that's a great
in
line.
the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, when I was
In
coaching
the state.
when I was coaching track, I see a thing in the paper that says pole vault coach needed something like $6,000 to $8,000 for. That's what, more than the head coaches make all around.
Why didn't you tell him about it?
Absolutely.
Oh, is he an expert pole vaulter?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And 3A, number 2 ranked is Freeport. They have all of their starters back but one. Number 5 is Mars. And in 2A, the defending WPL champs, number 1 ranked North Catholic. Number 5 is Elwood City.
Yeah, Al was very good again. That's true. I saw them practicing. They have some good spikers.
And in field hockey rankings, 3A, number 1 Pine Richland after their 3rd straight WPL title and 4th in the last 5 years. Their senior forward, Riley Wollerton, she's committed to Louisville.
There you go.
I'm telling you what, we have the star
Well,
players
there are
around here
people-
and so many good
you know
girls.
What? There are coaches, and many,
Yeah.
who have never coached a Division I player.
Manny.
Many.
Yes, correct. And number 3 ranked is North Allegheny. Now, our stories of the week, the NFL. Guys, please tell me that the preseason games are over. I had a nightmare that they had another week to go.
Oh, no.
Are they finally over?
Finally.
Lots of empty
It's a joke.
seats.
That's what it is. It's a joke.
And, you know, the empty seats, but those empty ones are paid for, right, George?
Well, they're part of this package, season
Package.
ticket. But so what happens? They give them to their neighbors and stuff. The people at the exhibition games you won't see there.
Well, what I think they ought to do is to agree to the NFL. You should, kids 12 and under, they ought to be let them in the game for $2 and open up a lot of other seats for $15 or $20 for
wouldn't.
people.
Not after
But they're
they-
never going to do
Now
that.
remember, no, wait a minute. And they had no
Supply and
revenue
demand.
last year.
And no one, no,
They had
They had no revenue.
They had no fans. No
I
fans.
feel sorry for
I
them.
know, but they're
Yeah.
going to make that
supply and
up.
demand tells you that. I'm telling you, if the Steelers, 100 tickets were for sale, like right today.
Yeah.
In 5 minutes, they'd be gone. And that's.
And what happens? The team that got the extra home game, 9, and they had one
Uh-huh.
fewer exhibition game, so the thing was 10.
Their last exhibition game, they lose to Carolina 34-9, 3-1 for the exhibition season. Quarterback Dwayne Haskins, he struggled, did not look good. 9 of 16 for 108 yards and an interception. They cut their 9 players. They have to be down to 53 this week. Let me ask you guys something. You know, they say, well, how they perform in games, but don't you think these coaches and even the GM, they know from practice who's going to be
sure.
on a team, who's going to.
For sure.
This stuff about how they did in the games,
No,
I
guys
think
play
they
great
already
game.
know, right?
I have a buddy who's an agent. I told that I wasn't away in. His phone is buzzing off the hook day and night now because everyone's cutting everybody and they're all looking for other people's
Right.
treasures, so to speak, like a yard sale, you know. And you'd be surprised how many people. And there's the last cut down, then they're grabbing them everywhere.
Eddie, my follow up on that is I think really it comes down to 3 players. That's what I think. 3 players. There's 3 openings. I'm saying that somebody's trying to get into. They have their team. They really
They already know.
no because they put money in somebody. They're not cutting them. Very seldom, right off the bat. Maybe year 3 or 4. And so what those kids, I call them kids, 20-year-old, 21, 22, coming out of college, they're trying to impress somebody on film so they can get on a practice squad of another team.
Right.
Yeah,
But
the
they already
Gibbons
know.
kid from Altoona who was at Penn State, he went to the practice squad. Now he's starting.
That's what you do,
and,
right?
And you get seen.
Well, to further make my point, when they have those workouts in May, you see guys are cut. They already know. They see what
They do know.
they know. They're not going to play. Now, Mike Tomlin refers to varsity and junior varsity players. Coach, I just want to say this. Whatever you're talking about junior varsity, those backups, they better be ready to play in case someone gets injured. They better not be junior varsity caliber.
Now, there's a lot of quarterbacks around in the NFL that you have to have, but around here, I think people realize if Roethlisberger goes down,
They're in trouble.
they have no chance. Their drop off at quarterback goes from 10 to 1, not to 10 to 5. I mean, those two are not even near him.
Well, all that chatter in these games between the commentators about Haskins beating out with just a lot of chatter.
Yeah,
Just something.
It has.
It was hope.
They're
because
hoping. Good line. Good
You'd
job.
have a guy for 10 more years, and he was a first rounder that you got basically for nothing.
But I gotta admit, I only saw bits and parts. Did the first team receivers play with Haskins? I'll be surprised if they did. I don't. So I'm saying it's not easy throwing to guys you're cutting in a game against Carolina who played their regulars.
It was a mixed bag.
That's what I'm saying.
It was a mixed bag.
That's really difficult. When Roethlisberger's in there,
Yeah.
he's throwing to the best
And there's
receiver.
no JV lineman either.
And 15 days off before they open at Buffalo, September 12th. The Bills by 7. Is that right? You
Oh,
like
for
that?
sure. That's right.
I love Buffalo.
Buffalo's loaded. Loaded.
This is a mandatory 3 days off or something. NFL, it's in the contract with this long. I think this weekend is mandatory off.
Well, I think they were off from 3 days. They went back to work early this week.
Well, they played Friday.
They were off
Pittsburgh.
Saturday,
They practiced
Sunday.
yesterday. Got a heck of a fight there yesterday.
That's what I heard.
Fitzpatrick and the
Claypool. Elsewhere, Baltimore running back J.K. Dobbins, ACL, he's out for the year. They'll be looking for, they can't put all the load on Gus Edwards. And how about rookie running back Travis Etienne, the Jacksonville foot fracture? He's out for the year.
Remember, Pittsburgh, they were deciding between him and the guy they took to. They were very lucky. And Al made a good
George,
point.
you make your point, then I'll follow it up.
Go
Tell
ahead, you
tell
said-
Baltimore's record. Tell him.
Yeah, Baltimore's lost the exhibition game in 6 years.
Right.
And Al
And I said he should lose some.
You
No,
lose some.
he plays to win exhibition. And how many Super Bowls they won, Eddie?
Yeah.
How many?
Well,
Look,
one. Yeah,
0
no,
in 6
no,
years.
And the other thing is this: they compare that they beat Green Bay's record of 19 straight. don't compare
But
yourself
I'm just
to Green
saying
Bay.
it's a joke because
different era.
the guy they needed was Dobbins.
Listen.
He's playing a winning exhibition game, loses one of his best
Listen,
players.
I've been telling you, I know you're right. He defended the choice because Dobbins only had 10 carries the whole exhibition.
So what?
That's right. So you
One
know
play.
it bothered him.
Yes.
Hey, then the Jags trade quarterback Gardner Minshew to the Eagles. Does he start for Philly? I think he's better than Jalen Hurts.
He won't start.
They
I think he's a better arm.
they know
better
this.
passing
They
arm.
know this. That in George's mind too. Like he likes Minshew a lot. They think he's better, but I don't know if they have the courage to do it. Minshew's that good at pro quarterback. He's really good.
I think he's a better arm.
But they're going to play Hurts. They're going to play
In the beginning, it was
In the beginning.
absolutely.
And the Dolphins and Texans are in serious trade talks for quarterback Deshaun Watson. Texans, they want quite a bit, and the Dolphins are hedging.
Boy, the Miami fans would be complaining like crazy until he threw his first 5 touchdowns.
Good.
Then they have pictures. They bring pictures into Watson because if they get Watson, Miami goes right to the top 5 in the NFL. In my thoughts, that's a good Miami.
Those girls are all lying. If they,
Yes.
I think the Texans are sitting there saying, "You want him? You give us a
Oh,
number
they're going
one.
to get him crazy.
You give us a number
No,
one
about
next
5
year."
number
you
ones.
see what?
They went
Oh
5,
no,
yes.
Ed. They want a king's ransom.
Yeah, they went 5.
Yeah,
numbers.
I know they went top picks.
Yes.
Let's move on to college football. After a few games of college football's version of Week 0, the full schedule this week, starting September the 2nd with Ohio State at Minnesota, the Buckeyes by 14, and then September the 3rd, North Carolina at Virginia Tech. September 4th, Pitt versus UMass, Pitt by 37 points. This is a big year for Narduzzi, number 7, his season at Pitt. Time for them to get into the top 25. You know, he's 42-34, but as I told you, he's 32-34 against Power 5 teams.
Yeah, Pitt has been the same thing for 7 years. This is their best chance. It really is. They got an outstanding quarterback and an outstanding defense. They got 2 things to build on. We're going to see what happens because I don't think there's pressure on them, but fans like me expect 9 wins this year. So I will see what happens.
Alabama and Miami, they're tied by 18. And
Miami's really good.
Alabama wins that first game every year by 40 points. I'm talking against good teams. A good team will come
Remember
in. and
Southern Cal, the one year?
Yeah,
They do it in the first game every year. They just trounce you.
And to me, the 2 best games, don't miss games, Penn State at Wisconsin, Badgers by 4.5. Clemson and Georgia, the Tigers by 3.5. And then September 5th, Notre Dame and Florida State, ND by 8.
Those are very
I love
good
Penn
games.
State and Clemson games.
Those are very good games, no question about it.
And college football, guys, the Willings and Dillings, the ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 meet to discuss an alliance, even though the Pac-12 said we don't want to add any new teams. And for the past year, we've been talking about this gathering storm of college football. And the 3 most important things there in college football are money, and I forgot the other 2. If you don't think it's about the money, and I have that list here for you, the top revenue-producing football programs. I'm just going to read the top 10 to you. Texas, Ohio State, Alabama, Michigan, Notre Dame, Georgia, Oklahoma, Auburn, LSU, and Tennessee. Penn State's at 13. Pitt and West Virginia. Pitt's 58th, West Virginia 68th. So when this powerful football conference comes together, the top 30 or 40 teams, does Pitt and West Virginia get in? They're going to break away from the NCAA and get away from all those rules. Does Pitt and West Virginia make it?
Well, we had this talk in the car, and George said Pitt's revenue from a big city will get
But
them
they're
in.
Eyeballs
58.
on the TV.
But they're 58.
No, eyeballs on the TV.
Right.
There's talk the Big 12 is going to add 8 more, make it 16, go to 4 4-team quads, West Virginia being the farthest east, and in that respect, they'll have all the time zones
So that's
covered.
the one that's going to
Yeah.
add. Big 12's the one that's going to
Big
add.
12 is going to add.
They don't have much choice there.
They don't
Well,
have
no, I
choice.
know, but I don't know who was going to
Right,
go.
exactly.
It's the
I think
Big 12.
They want Houston.
Baylor,
Okay.
or not Baylor's over there.
Yeah,
Houston
yeah,
and
they want
Is it
Houston.
SMU or no?
No.
No, okay.
I
Dallas,
don't know.
that's a big that's a big eyeball.
Now there's some question. If Cincinnati continues to win, where do they go?
They go in that quadrant with West Virginia. That's supposed the rumor.
Then Syracuse, Duke, and some of those schools are going to be left out. Let me Pitt
Well,
historically.
ACC's no, I don't think they'll get left out.
No.
Who?
The teams are in the ACC already.
I don't think any of those will
No,
left
no.
out either.
I'm saying if they move this shift into the top 30 or 40 teams, not every. When
You know about what we're talking about right now,
revenue.
Eddie?
Yeah.
No one knows. That's
No one knows.
We're all
knows.
trying to think what's going on.
But when it comes, there's no sympathy here. There's no loyalty. There's no honor.
none.
It's all about.
It's out for yourself.
If some of those other teams say, "Why are you bringing in so and so?" The athletic directors might say, "What? We don't want them in there. They're 74th in revenue. We're 14th. Why are you bringing them in?" It's going to be really interesting, and anyone who thinks this is a joke, they're not thinking at all. This is going to happen, like you said.
happen.
I don't know when. Next year, 5 years.
You know what's interesting is everything's happening behind our backs. Like right this minute, as we're sitting on this show, somebody's talking to an AD and saying, "Listen, don't let this out."
Yeah.
They do everything behind the back.
Yeah,
They do.
I think the Pac-12 is playing close to the vest. Don't reveal what we want, what we're talking about.
And then the other thing is, too, these are the same people that pick the playoff teams that are supposed to be above board.
They're not.
Yeah,
That should help you, Eddie, though. Because if Notre Dame's in that running,
Well, they get whatever they want.
they're getting it. Notre Dame and Alabama. Alabama's moved up to that running and to that place.
Yeah,
But those two teams get what they want.
You get those top teams,
Yeah,
money and leverage.
yes.
Leverage. Do
Leverage,
you have
that's the word.
leverage?
Good leverage.
Or you don't?
Leverage.
Now, I'm just saying, in a way, I mentioned to George 2 years ago, number 2 Miami come into Pitt on a beautiful day, 9-0. There were only 36,000 there at the stadium. It was very disappointing. I want to see what happens when Clemson comes in this year. I remember going back when Southern Cal came in with Anthony Davis to play Pitt and Tony Dorsett. There was only like 35 or 38.
So it hasn't changed much,
there.
right?
It hasn't changed much.
It's a pro town.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, NIL inequity. I've been reading about this and shaking my head. UConn coach Gina Ariyama said, "Oh, they're going to be inequities here." Coach, where have you been? Come on, coach. Your star players didn't get preferential treatment. Tony Dorsett and Dan Marino, they didn't get preferential treatment. Jim Thorpe got preferential treatment in Red Grange. There's nothing fair about it. It's never been that way. The stars get preferential treatment. So I don't know what he's talking about. Did the backup guard at Pitt get upset with Tony Dorsett and quit the team?
No.
I don't know what he's.
It happened to Farrell when I played there. Dave Johnson got treated better. The other guys got treated, and that was a great coach, Coach McCluskey. Everybody knew Dave Johnson was his boy. Don't mess with Dave Johnson. That's just the way it is.
And on top of that, when you look at these teams, it's just out in the open a little bit more. In other words, they don't have to do it.
They have to hide anymore.
Yeah, that's all.
Joe Bob doesn't have to. He could drive that Corvette now around Tuscaloosa
Right,
anytime he wants.
And the NCAA's been neutered. Justice Kavanaugh rendered the NCAA helpless.
Yeah, and these teams are going to move away and say goodbye to the NCAA, have their own commissioner, their own playoff system. They'll have 12 teams or 16, whatever, sweeten apart. Plot lucrative TV deals, just like UCLA years ago. Those players weren't taken care of.
Absolutely, basketball.
One of my point guards is the SAD at Arizona State, and he would tell me all the time, "Wait, you should see the cars that some of these guys are driving in the Pac-12 when they come." He says it's amazing. So what, they just pay for them from mom and dad.
I don't. Yeah, what Reggie Bush had happened then with his car.
jeez.
Today it'd be nothing.
They thought it was 50 miles away. No one would know. Like that made it okay. It was incredible.
I don't want to mention names, but I know because several players, star players, went on Division I football. I know the one guy in his 4 year never paid for a dinner, no matter where he went. Didn't ask for it. Out there.
And they weren't McDonald's either, by the way.
Dinner was paid for. And then I had a former student dated a kid from a local power football program. Going out on a Saturday night, I always stop to see coach. I need something to go out. This has been going on for years. Now it's out front. It's never been equal, and it never will be equal for sure.
Never.
Hey, Major League Baseball, the Pirates split 4 with St. Louis. They're 48 and 83. Coming up next with the White Sox, they release outfielder Gregory Polanco. Pirates are seeing a lot of small crowds during the week, less than 10,000. They have 4 or 5 crowds of about 8,000 David Bednar. I'm going to call him the bull in the bullpen. Bull Bednar. He's down to 2.35 with his ERA. He's just been outstanding. And the Pirates, guys, I don't know. It's a revolving door of players coming in every week. It won't be long they'll sign someone off Smithfield Street to come in and play. I don't even know these guys. And then they fire the pitching hitting coach Rick X.
That is
that
such
was the
a
problem.
joke.
Well, let me just say
That is such a joke.
Who is he?
Let me just say that I wouldn't even have a hitting coach. You could correct me if I'm
That's
wrong.
why I said it's a joke.
Did Musial need one? Did Williams Clemente need one? And how much did the hitting coach help Mario Mendoza?
Yeah.
The 200 line.
They're just they're psychological coaches trying to build up. Hey, you can do this because they all have the same. I mean, they're taught. I'm saying they're all taught the same swing, even if you're a 5'11" shortstop or you're 6'3" outfielder. They want that upper swing.
How about this? The Dominican, I called him last night. I'm watching late. Pedro Martinez. They have quit teaching launch angle to their hitters.
Here's my take.
I might send my grandsons to the
Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Here's my take. You can either hit or you can't. No hitting coach is going to change. No one helped Ozzie Smith then. Why didn't they make him a great athlete as he was? At least a 280 hitter. He was
Right.
a 240,
His
250
whole career
hitter. No one's going to teach. What are you going to tell Clemente how to hit? No. Or Willie
they
Mays
just
or
pick
any of
somebody
these
out and
guys.
fire that ball. That's twice they've
Yeah.
done that now. Do you think Epstein thinks it's his fault? He's telling somebody today in the local bar, I met with these guys for 7 hours.
Yeah.
They just stink.
Now, did someone teach Dick Groat how to hit behind the runner?
Oh,
He was able
jeez.
to do it. He was that kind of. So to me, such a waste of time and effort. Like they made this decision. It was a good time now to do it. Why? With 30 games left to prove
I'm
what?
calling Charrington out and Schultz Sheldy out on this one. Let's blame let's put the blame on somebody who does not deserve the blame. Look yourself in the mirror,
Shelton's
Charrington.
handling
Shelby,
of the
look
pitching
yourself
staff.
look yourself in the mirror.
His
Jeez,
handling of the
man.
pitching
How about
staff.
fire them by email? That'd be the only thing that'd be worse.
I know.
Hey, the future, the current farm system is ranked number 4. Here's what I'm going to say, and then let me hear what you guys think. Back in 2014, it was number 1.
But that's when they
Number
won.
one.
But that's when they won.
They won a few years.
Yeah, they did.
won
That's all they can
215s.
win. They can only win a few
and
years.
no fault of the previous manager, Clint.
Right.
They unloaded everybody.
They did. That's what happened.
So that's my point. Ho hum, they're number 4, as you say.
They'll win for 2 or 3 years. They will. 2023 or 24 through 26.
And
They'll win 3
interviews
years.
your definition of winning. Is it making the wild card game? Is that what you consider winning?
Yeah, for the Pirates it is.
Yeah.
Yes, for the
And I
Pirates.
looked at
That's
lineup.
Tampa. Everybody brags about Tampa.
Here,
Tell me
right.
how many World Series they have.
Here-
I'll say it again. How
Well,
many
they
World
made
Series
one. They didn't
I know,
win
but
one.
how many
They
they
made
have
one.
one? That's what
Right.
they have not
They-
won one, and they build them up like they're the 1927 Yankees.
And Texas with a losing record outdraws Tampa with a winning
That is
record and being
embarrassing.
in
That
first
is
place.
embarrassing.
Well, there have been a lot of small crowd. I think last week 20 games in the majors.
well-
There were like 8 or 9 of them that had
Don't
attendance
forget the
below
population of
15,000.
Dallas.
yeah.
Yeah,
Doing
true.
that.
But still,
They
Tampa.
need to move Montreal. Tampa needs to go to Montreal.
At least half the game.
They're going to move. They're going to move somewhere. Hey, PG article by Jason Mackey on the 29th. This date in history, September the 1st, 1971. Pirate manager Danny Murtaugh writes a lineup featuring Major League Baseball's first ever all-minority
What year was that?
lineup. 1971,
How about
September
that?
the 1st.
Right
And
my
they asked
heyday.
Murtaugh about it. All he said was, I'm just trying to win, put out my best lineup. Bob Robertson was injured, Richie Hebner,
the truth.
Gene Ellie, and that's what he put out there. Murtaugh was all about winning. He's the best manager the Pirates ever had. He's the best manager never to get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I don't think he thought of anything about it. I know as a fan, I didn't think anything of it because I rooted for the Pirates.
Would you care if they won the World Series?
No one cares.
No
No
what
one
kind
cares.
of lineup?
It's just a joke. See, they shouldn't even
they
write
have.
about it, but they have to because of the day and age we're living in. But I'm just saying, when I was there in 1971, when Rennie Stennett played, I just thought he's a good player. That's all.
And that is it for us. We'll see you next week. We'll have our pro football preview.